Well, the outer Western Sydney seat of Macquarie is the most marginal of Australia's 151 electorates. At the last election, just over 300 votes split these two candidates on your screen. And in 2 months' time, they will face off yet again in the country's closest contest. Kenny Heatley has this Battleground breakdown.
The political division in the seat of Macquarie is as dramatic as the landscape itself. Stretching from the upper Hawkesbury River to the spectacular Blue Mountains, its vast national parks and conservation areas are prime tourism favourites. But it's also a battleground battered by multiple disasters. First, the Black Summer bushfires, then 2 years in a row of March flooding. The peak earlier this month was a metre higher than last year. In most places, it was the worst flooding the region has seen in multiple decades, and the long recovery process will still be happening by election night. Voters here have endured more than most, but they also command a vote that's more valuable than most.
I am a swinging voter.
The Liberals held the seat of Macquarie from 2010 to 2016 and need it back to compensate for the likely losses of seats in Western Australia. As the most marginal seat in Australia, it's a no-brainer for Scott Morrison to target. And as you can see, his campaign here with Sarah Richards has already begun.
It's great to be back here with you in Macquarie.
Macquarie's margin is just 0.2%. Incumbent Susan Templeman held on at the 2019 election by just 371 votes. It was such a tight contest that Liberal candidate Sarah Richards was invited by Scott Morrison to attend the first post-election coalition meeting of new MPs in Canberra, despite her party room presence eventually proving premature.
We spent the next 10 days watching that vote go back and forth, and yes, it was at the 10th day where I fell behind and the seat was declared.
Macquarie is politically polarised. Labor dominates the Blue Mountains area, while the Liberals hold a Hawkesbury advantage. Since her narrow 2019 election loss, Hawkesbury City Councillor Sarah Richards has fostered a local profile following her efforts during the floods and on local Facebook pages that promote local business and tourism.
I think people have been through some really rough times here in the last 3 years. The fires, the floods, the pandemic. It sounds a little cliche, but it is true. We have lived this here in Macquarie.
Susan Templeman knows Scott Morrison is targeting her seat and is not going down without a fight.
This is always a marginal seat. This has, for every election I've fought, it been a very marginal seat. So there's no surprise there. I think what might be surprising is that I'm still here. I hope that on election night there will be a convincing result that shows the people of Macquarie have trusted me.
Last time when the elections went, Sarah gave Susan a really big run for it. It was so close. But the things that are important to this area in the Hawkesbury is our internet service. It's always dropping out.
I think Sarah probably does have a bit more chance this time around.
Locals here can expect cash splashes from both parties courting every critical vote.
They've never had a government who will not just make an announcement but will actually deliver on that announcement. Now, I know what Labor governments do, and we have delivered on promises.
Kenny Heatley, Sky News, Sydney.